All right, it's the Illini Basketball Podcast, episode number 98. Two more from the big 100 century mark. Big milestone, huge milestone. Season 3, I guess, of doing this show. So it's been a while since we've said this, I guess, in terms of days, but Illinois coming off of a loss to Purdue. They lose 84-68. I feel like there's a lot of things to be said about this game. I don't know how much the perception of this game changes after what happened to Purdue last night, but this is just they played pretty well in the first half given what they were doing, and then the second half was just bad.
Abysmal. Yeah. It was not good. I mean, couldn't get stops, couldn't make shots. It leads to 18-point loss or 16-point loss, whatever it was. Not good at all. So go with player of the game, because we got to pick a player of the game, I guess. I don't know if anybody is super deserving of it, but I went with Plummer just because in the first half he helped keep Illinois in the game. Between him and Curbelo, they scored 16 of the last 17 of the half in the first half, which Illinois took a 2-point lead into half with. And so, I mean, yeah, he played well in the first half. He went 5 of 10 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, had 14 points, 1 assist. But man, they just struggled the second half. And it wasn't just him, but your pick?
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit off the board here. I'm going to go RJ Melendez. I feel like he's the only guy that showed up in the second half and actually made things happen. He made a 3. I thought his defense was fine.
I think he made the only 3 of the second half, if I remember right. I think they were 1 for 11.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Grandison was breaking everything, so
yeah,
that's something to think about.
The mind power was not going this game.
Nope.
But, yeah, RJ had a great game. He played 10 minutes. Probably could have played some more. I think we're going to see more of RJ as time goes on. It seems like he's back or whatever. I don't know what was going on at the beginning of the season or midway through the season, but he seems healthy, and he's long and he plays hard. So
at what point do you get Hawkins completely out of the rotation? He just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
They don't need the length. I mean, they're fine. BBV's a better player at this stage, which is embarrassing to say.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that we'd be saying that BBV's a better player than Coleman Hawkins in February?
Yeah, Hawkins, honestly did nothing. He played 7 minutes, got 2 rebounds, and had an assist, and then had 2 fouls. He had one of those Hawkins fouls where he barely touches somebody, lets him get an and one or whatever. But yeah, he's been struggling. And I just don't see it. I don't see him as this, great 4 that, Brad had tried to talk him up, most of the season, but back to the starters, Kofi, I decent game. I wouldn't say that he was bad.
Better than the first game.
Yeah, 7 of 12, 4 or 5 from the line, 18 points, 7 rebounds. He did have a turnover when he tried to throw it behind his back head pass, whatever that thing was.
It was one of the best plays of the game.
But I mean, you look at it, 1 turnover, not bad. Even though that was the one, he probably shouldn't have had a turnover there if he would have just turned around or something. But they were doubling him when Edie wasn't in. They were doubling him. I thought he did a good job on the bigs. Edie had 13 points, and Trevion had 10 points. So Edie was 6 of 10 from the field, and a lot of his buckets are rebounds and putback dunks. Where, and a lot of people are saying that Kofi underperformed. Illini Fan Nation on Twitter, I thought, had a really good point. Kofi goes 7 of 12 with 18 points, and it's he's underperforming. He's better than this or whatever. But when Johnny Davis goes 2 for 12 against Penn State, or Ivy goes 5 of 15 against Penn State, nobody talks about it. So, something to think about. I don't know what Ivy ended up with last night, but he seemed to play really well at points. And then I don't know what happened in that game last night with Purdue, but
I think
coming off 2 days after playing Illinois is rough too. I mean,
yeah,
having to
it
go to
is.
Michigan, not that that's an excuse, but
It was a
you know,
letdown spot.
yeah, absolutely. So we talked about Grandison a little bit. Not a good game. 3 of 8 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, 7 points, 2 rebounds. So he's back to not rebounding well. 3 assists, 2 turnovers. As a team, Illinois only had 9 turnovers, so at least they were good in that part of the game. But again, that's Purdue's defense, right? They're not turning the ball over, or they're not forcing turnovers very often. DeMonte, tough night, 1 for 6, 1 for 4 from 3 rebounds, which is un-DeMonte like, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Some guy commented on Twitter about DeMonte's rebounding, and how Illinois needs to play taller guys like Melendez or something over him to get more rebounds. But DeMonte has been either second or leading the team in like the last 5-6 games. This game was an off game, I understand. But that guy said something like, your team leader shouldn't be rebounding leader shouldn't be 6'3". You're not going to win very many games with that. Which, fair point, but why would you call somebody out when he's actually leading the team in rebounds? If you want to go after people not rebounding, there's other guys to go after, and it's not DeMonte. So
He played some really good defense early in this game, and then it just completely fell apart.
He let Gillis shoot a couple threes in his face, which Gillis shoots 50-some%. If you watch our watch party, I mean, we're kind of repeating everything from that, but yeah, you can't leave Gillis open. I think Gillis had a terrible game last night too, but Illinois just caught him. Yeah, Illinois just caught him. I mean, number 13 coming into your gym. They did what they needed to do. They shot, and another thing with rebounds, they shot 65% in the second half. So not a whole lot of chances to get rebounds.
And the difference between what Purdue saw last night and what they saw with Illinois is Michigan has a guy who plays the 5 who literally owns them and made 4 threes last night. And Houston made 4 threes and Brooks made 4 threes.
Yeah, and that's what Illinois didn't do. They didn't make threes in the second half.
Like, how often is Michigan going to shoot 57% from 3?
Right.
Not often.
And I feel like that's a good – I mean, I know we talk about Kofi's game and can it translate to the NBA and all that, but good for Juwan Howard to trust Dickinson to be able to take those shots. That's what makes Michigan so much tougher to beat, is because Dickinson can beat you inside and out.
50 points and 6 threes. 50 points and 6 threes in 2 games against Purdue.
Eesh.
And I mean, that's the difference. And if he's going to start making threes, I mean, I have said Michigan is going to – I think they're going to get in eventually. They're 7-5 in the conference. They got a couple good wins. I think they're going to get in. I don't know. We'll see. But
I think I mean they definitely played well last night. So Trent, a terrible offensive night for him. 1 of 7, 0 of 4 from 3, 1 rebound, 5 assists, 1 steal. He had 2 turnovers. Trent just he just wasn't there offensively, and I don't understand. I think that like Plummer and him need to take more shots off ball screens. It seems like there's some opening there, and I'd like to see him shoot it more there. But Trent had a little scary altercation, bumped knees with Ivy, went down. I don't care if he begs and pleads and wants back in that game. I don't know what Brad was doing. Brad said that he wanted back in the game, so they let him back in the game. But there wasn't any reason to at that point.
I mean,
the game was over, and you got to think that Painter played his starting 5 until the buzzer sounded. So that might have had something to do with them being a little slow last night too. So
I don't hate the idea of Frazier coming in for like a couple possessions, but the fact that he kept him in after the under 4 was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And 3 out of the last 4 games for Trent have been not great offensively. I mean,
I think he's airballed one every game the last 3 games.
Yeah, 6 points against Northwestern, 2 for 10 from the field. Yeah. He had 7 against Wisconsin, much more efficient though. I mean, 3 for 10 is not great, but he had 7 assists, so he gets past that.
putting up numbers in the 20s for a few games there. So
Indiana, he had 23. He was 8 of 11 from the field.
Yeah.
And then Purdue, just not good. But
especially against Purdue's front line. I mean,
it's not that special.
Yeah. Curbelo off the bench, thought he played well. He didn't do anything, crazy that you would say, why are you doing that? I don't think. Didn't make all his shots, that some of those are some shots that only Curbelo will take. But 21 minutes, he played 12 in the first and 9 in the second, which I thought was really weird. When Trent was out or whatever, I don't know why Curbelo didn't get more points. He was the only guy that seemed to be able to do stuff at points. So he was 4 or 10 from the field. He did make another 3, so 3 games in a row that he's made a 3. I don't know about that stat. He was perfect from the line, 6 free throws, 2 rebounds, a steal. He did have 2 turnovers, but you're gonna get some turnovers with Curbelo usually. So Melendez, we already talked about, great game, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Like I said, I think he's going to get more time. The bigs that came in for Kofi, Boston and Verdonk missed another bunny. Not good. Only played 6 minutes, had 3 rebounds. And then Payne played 5 minutes, went 1 of 3 from the free throw line with 3 rebounds, a block, and 1 point. So Hawkins, we already talked about how we feel about him. So, this team they were just cold the whole second half. Couldn't make anything. Purdue puts up 48 in the second half, which is the most Illinois has given up all year in a half. And Brad did say after the game, which I think everybody's going to agree with, quote, "We're not going to win many ball games when Frazier and Grandison go 4 of 15 and DeMonte goes 1 of 6. We're not going to be very good." So
I think we know what we're going to get from Curbelo now. I did look 2 for 3 from 3 in his last 3 games.
Okay.
He did not take one against Indiana. On the season, 4 for 18, so 22% moving up. Last year, he was 5 for 31 for 16%. Career 18% three-point shooter, pretty good. One thing that's interesting, and I know it's a lot smaller sample size. Last year, from 2-point range, he was 55%, and this year he's 38%. So it's going down a little bit, but he also hasn't played very much. And I mean, Marquette was 4 for 15. So
he seems to be taking more like runners that aren't high percentage shots too. Like
he went to the basket a lot more last season.
Yeah,
but I also wonder if it depends on who's on the floor with him.
That's true.
Like if he's not playing with Kofi, he probably doesn't have as much space.
Yeah.
Because if Hawkins is in there, that's just a train wreck. Does Hawkins ever go inside at all on offense? Like ever? Other than to get rebounds? Like he stands up top and runs the weave like he's a guard. What is the point of that?
I think they put him at the high post a few times. But
I don't understand it. I think that he's bad, but I also think that Illinois hasn't used him as well as they could have.
Yeah.
Which is weird since Underwood wants him to be like an All-American or something.
Right.
If he means like All-American and like D3 or whatever, I guess, yeah, that'd be good for him. Good luck.
Yeah. So I don't know. They let Purdue basically do whatever they wanted in the second half. Brad did say that they were soft on the rebounds and they need to get that figured out. They were out rebounded by 35-32, which Illinois was usually in the positive double figures before this. I think somebody said that DeMonte was like minus 18 in this game, but I can't imagine that many guys were plus numbers. So whatever. Yeah. Ivy was spectacular, to say the least. He started going off after the refs wouldn't call obvious fouls. He said, usually when I don't get a call or an obvious call, I usually get mad and take it out on the game. So he had 22 points after he got mad. But Brad thought that Matt Painter did great coaching by just giving him the ball and, not messing around, screwing around anymore, by just giving him the ball. So
it was a season high for Ivy. this is a player that I absolutely loved coming into this season, and there's a reason why he's so good. Honestly, if you said, do you want Johnny Davis or Jaden Ivey, I will take Jaden Ivey every single day. I don't even care.
I think he's more versatile.
He's better. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, he's showing it now. I mean, last night, even in that game, 18 points, 6 for 12 from the field is not bad. I know they lost and got killed, but he did show up in that game, and he's been tearing it up. I mean, and it's not surprisingly, when I look at his game log, he shoots a lot less free throws than I would have thought. Like, he shot 7 last night, 4 against Illinois, 8 against Michigan the first time.
Yeah, but he felt like he probably should have shot 20 against Illinois.
The only game he shot double-digit free throws was the first game against Illinois.
Yeah. Ivy did compliment the Illini, saying that they brought the energy with their physical defense in the first half. He didn't say that they were really bad in the second half, but you know what he implied.
Yeah. So I feel like Painter learned nothing from the first game and just decided to give Ivy the ball because Ivy
demanded the ball. I don't think Matt Painter had any decision on that.
So. Well, I figured that Painter would have gone into the post a little bit more than they did instead of giving Ivy the ball every time. But
yeah, I mean, this is just one of those games where you tip your cap to Purdue and you hope that Illinois, gets their ass chewed and corrects the course, because they should be a little bit embarrassed, I'd say, about this loss. I kept saying before the watch party, just be competitive, and they were for 20 minutes, and then they weren't at all. So I don't know, 8 of 26 from 3, and like we said, just Grandison and Williams and Frazier, making a combined 2 threes is not good. So
80% from the free throw line. Round of applause for that. There we go.
Still shooting free throws well. I mean, Payne missed 2 of them, and Kofi missed 1. So other than that, everybody's perfect. And when I say everybody, I mean Curbelo, Melendez, and
that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, on to the next one. Michigan helped Illinois last night, beating Purdue. So Illinois, controls their own destiny, basically. I
know we're supposed to hate Michigan.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy watching Hunter Dickinson dominate Purdue. Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, it's kind of funny because Purdue gets this. They kind of have this like we're the greatest thing ever, when it's like, come on, calm down a little bit. It's kind of like if Illinois fans last year were as big a nerds as Purdue fans are.
Well, that's what I was. My dad texted and said, "Go Fishigan," and I said I love it and I hate it both at the same time. So,
yeah, I don't know. What do you think about them storming the court?
I hate that. I mean, if you recall, Michigan was a top 5 team starting the season.
But then there's the argument that, okay, right now they're unranked. I feel like if you like Arkansas was pretty highly thought of going into the season, and they stormed the court.
Yeah, and I didn't like that either.
I don't really care, to be honest. I think the only time to care is if it's a ranked team beating another ranked team.
What's with the new thing is Channing overrated at players. Like,
they can't think of anything other than airball and overrated, and then the player's name, and then you suck. Yeah. That's about all they got now.
Apparently Michigan was doing that to Ivy last night. Which
Ivy shot 50% from the field at 18 points, but okay.
Yeah.
Bit weird. The problem that you see in the Big Ten at this point now is Illinois has pretty much every single game moving forward is going to be, I mean, they're going to be competitive, but like other than Northwestern and Purdue, or not Purdue, Penn State, I don't know what that was. You kind of, Rutgers apparently at the rack, I guess it's Jersey Mike's Arena now, is like, they're like Gonzaga, apparently, because Jesus. And that's a place Illinois struggled to win, so that's going to be a tough one. And obviously Michigan State on the road is going to be tough. Ohio State is going to be tough. Michigan on the road. Iowa. So
yeah, I mean, Illinois can still, lose 4 games, I think, down the stretch. So,
but Michigan did help last night, no doubt.
Michigan did help. I was going to say something. Oh, And I know that you said it for me, but how much does that Maryland loss just piss you off now?
It's so bad.
Iowa had 101 points last night with 5 minutes left.
Yeah,
Against Maryland.
There's no Kofi excuse either in that game.
Right.
Like they hung around with them in the first half
and
no-showed the second half. So that's 2 losses now in the Big Ten. 2 of the 3 losses they completely no-showed in the second half. Yeah. And the outlier is the Purdue game where they no-showed at the end of the first half and were down by a lot and then came back. So pretty bad. I mean, Maryland's 3-10 in the conference. They are horrific defensively, clearly, because my God. And Iowa is a team that they're not even that good. I mean, they are not a tournament team to me.
Yeah.
And they have the number 4 offense in the country.
Yeah.
So.
And I didn't forgot to say this about the Purdue game. One positive note: Illinois held Stefanovic to 7 points on 3 of 10 shooting, 1 of 6 from 3. So, if you're gonna put a feather somewhere, I guess we'll put it there.
Yeah, and to talk about Maryland real quick, Iowa was 19 for 34 from 3. Bohannon had 30 points, all on 10 threes. And Keegan Murray was 12 for 14 from the field, 30 points. Good defense, guys. Good defense.
Wow.
So that's 60 points from 2 players. So that's a good job by them, no doubt. So yeah, not a good performance from Maryland. And Maryland, a team that has now beaten Illinois. They went into Rutgers and won, so that's a big one. And they're just not good. And Illinois. That's rough luck, no doubt. And good thing they won the first one, because the first one there were some doubts there too. If they would have lost the first one against Maryland, that would have been even more disastrous. But now you look at Wisconsin, standing with Illinois 10-3. Wisconsin is home against Rutgers tomorrow. Then they go to Indiana. So I think they'll lose one of the next 2. You would assume, especially coming off of that win at Michigan State. Letdown incoming. Don't know when the letdown will be, but you got to think Indiana's going to be playing pretty pissed off after whatever the hell that was against Northwestern on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose to Michigan State, I'm sure, too. So
yeah,
that'll be something to look at. But Illinois, back at it Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, a Super Bowl where you should be more concerned about the commercials than the game. Because nobody cares other than Joe Burrow, but shout out to him. So let's see, 1:00, Big Ten Network. Hopefully this game goes into like 10 overtime, so it overlaps with the Super Bowl. That would be hilarious. Illinois 17-6, need to get this win, probably drop to 15 or 16 in the top 25, if I had to guess. By the way, Lunardi moved Illinois from 11 to 9 after the loss, so not sure what's up with that, but top 3 seed apparently. I guess Houston losing probably helped, I would assume. What's this comment?
Pookie, what's up, buddy? Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. All right. 17-6 overall, 10-3 in the Big Ten, Illinois. Northwestern, 12-10, 5-8 in the Big Ten. Rothstein proclaimed them to be in position to be a tournament team for something or another. I don't early in the season, whatever that was. But Rutgers, they've won 3 in a row since Illinois beat them on January 30th. I actually think that might have been the 29th. I don't know why I wrote 30th. Nope, it was the 29th. What an idiot. All right. Let's see. They beat Rutgers by 1 in overtime. Important to note that Rutgers or Northwestern blew a 24-point lead to get that to overtime. So they almost lost that one. But then they embarrassed Nebraska. One of the low points of Hoiberg's run there, which is saying a lot considering how many low points there have been. But getting blown out at home by Northwestern.
Nebraska got theirs, though.
They did. And Minnesota. Thought Minnesota was good early in the season. Everybody's like, "Oh, are they good?" Yeah, since 2-10 in the Big Ten, not bad. That's a team that beat Rutgers and Michigan. Though. They beat Rutgers and Michigan, so shout out. Anyway, they beat Indiana by 8, but it's important to note that Indiana had how many guys suspended in that game on Tuesday? 5.
5. 2 that really mattered, I think. Xavier Johnson, Durr. I think that, and what's that other dude's name? Carson. What's his name? Carson something. Carson something. Cameron something.
Parker Stewart.
Yep.
Nailed it.
That's who I meant. Carson Barker,
Okay, so let's see. Indiana played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys more than 20 or more than 15 minutes. So they had a pretty low amount of players available. But leave it to Ken Palm to say that the MVP of that game was Trace Jackson Davis with 13 points and 11 rebounds, 4 for 13 in the field. But he's the MVP of the game. Okay,
makes sense.
Not Boo Booey, who was 8 for 18 with 18 points and won the game. Makes a lot of sense. I don't, but that's ridiculous.
You don't like either of those guys, though.
I don't know. I think I hate TJD a little bit more as a player. But so Northwestern last 3 games, 5 for 27 from 3 against Indiana, 13 for 31 against Nebraska, which is not that bad. And then against Rutgers, they were 10 for 31. So you never really know what you're going to get with them from 3. They're 120th in the country in 3-point percentage, 231st in 2-point percentage. So interesting note there. You look back at the first game between the two. Obviously, Illinois' offense in that game was just an atrocity for the most part. They shot 27% from 3.
Yeah.
Somehow 51% from 2, but I think a lot of that had to do with Melendez 2 for 4, Hawkins, Payne, and Podge 1 for 1 from 2.
They shot?
51% from 2, 27% from 3.
Oh, gotcha.
Nailed it. So yeah, I mean, they out-rebounded them 36-30 in the first game. Boo Booey did his typical 3 for 10, no-show, not score double-digit points against Frazier, which you always assume will happen. So
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it was a low-scoring game the first time. Kofi had 22. I think Kofi's going to be able to still try to get whatever he wants. You just need the other guys to step up. You hope that the time off. Hopefully Trent's knee's good. I haven't really heard anything besides everybody saying that he's going to be okay. So
I would assume so.
Yeah, and they had, like I said, they had a long break. I'm sure Brad's been harping on him.
Thank God that wasn't a non-contact for Trent, by the way. That would have been disastrous.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, you got to shut down Boo Booey. You got to, handle Pete Nance, or at least not let him do anything crazy. And the guys around him. I mean, Audij, he's a player that seems super streaky. He can get it going, but he can also be just not good at all. So kind of like Boo Booey. So I don't know. They're going to have to play well. Underwood was talking up Young like crazy before the last game. Young went 0 for 6 against Illinois in 13 minutes. So
Audij is like an every 3 or 4 game type of guy.
Yeah, he can have games where I think he's the guy that kind of puts Northwestern over the hump of mediocrity.
He's due for a bad one. He's scored double digits the last 3 games.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you hope that the guys, Grandison gets his mind power going again, and Frazier makes some threes. I think that he needs to see the ball go through the basket like soon. And then I'm excited to see if Melendez plays a little bit more. He played 16 minutes against Northwestern the first time they played. So I'm excited to see him play. I think he brings another level to the game where he can do things that guys like DeMonte can't do. Or I even think that Grandison, he's even a little better than Grandison in certain parts. So we'll see. I think they're going to bounce back. I think they're going to play hard. I think their shooting is going to come back, and I think they're going to win this game easily. At least that's what I'm going to predict. So
I think the key in this game is a little bit more defensive pressure, but also closing out, making plays to not give Nance easy shots. I wonder how Chris Collins, who is not a good coach, by the way, I wonder how he's going to use Elijah Williams, because he had a good game in the first game. He played 23 minutes. He's a big body. He's not that tall, but he's heavier than somebody his height probably, or at least he's more built, I guess I should say. 7 points, 3 for 6 from the field. Went after Kofi. He's got some pretty good moves on the inside. And he's a veteran. I know he played 4 seasons at Fairleigh Dickinson before this in the NEC conference, of course. So interested to see if he gets to play, because you look at his minutes over the season, it's been pretty inconsistent, but he's played double-digit minutes in 5 straight games, including he played the most of the season that he's played all season against Illinois. So interested to see how they use him. Illinois has got to figure out how to shut Pete Nance down, like he said. Ty Berry, I think, is a guy that could maybe make something happen. Was 3 for 8 from the field, made 2 threes the first game. Greer is another guard that you got to watch out for a little bit. They have a lot of scrappy players. I don't really think they have that next level guy. I know Nance is good. Like you said, Audige is streaky. Boo Booey is typically a ghost in these games.
Yeah.
Maybe he won't be this time. Shout out. Maybe one last go for him against Frazier. Maybe
and I think when Boo Booey gets on, he gets like scary good. It seems like he doesn't miss when he gets it going. We haven't, as Illinois fans against Illinois, we haven't seen him actually.
Haven't had the pleasure of seeing that.
Yeah, but I think Illinois' defense is going to be very good in this game. I'm hoping that's very good. I'm hoping that they've just been taping Kofi's hands up, like tape him to his head or something, and so he just has to hold him there all practice.
What do you think of his defense against Purdue? Because against Indiana, he was good. Yeah.
I didn't think he was bad.
I think he's getting a little bit better. I mean, the Indiana game was big.
Yeah, I didn't think it was bad by any means.
It's hard to judge him against Purdue.
Yeah. When the guy's 7'4" or whatever. And then I think against Williams, he struggles a bit just because Williams is so quick.
That's Elijah Williams too from Northwestern. Yeah. That was another issue. He's just not as skilled as Trevion Williams.
Right.
No relation, I don't think. But
yeah. Trevion Williams. Some of those shots he puts up, it's like, how did that go in? But
yeah,
he's got some touch. But yeah, I think that he was decent. I wouldn't say that he was, over the top great against him, but.
Well, the perfect matchup for him is somebody like TJ Dew, who's smaller and can't shoot from the outside.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's not the case with Nance. So Nance is not as tall, but can shoot.
He's not afraid to shoot. Yeah. So he knocked down 3 against Illinois last game. So.
But earlier, your point about people talking about that being a bad game for Kofi or whatever, and then not mentioning Ivy and Davis. I think the biggest thing with that is I think we probably, as a country and as a society, probably criticize bigs more than guards for some reason. Because I think
they're taking shots close to the rim, right? I mean,
yeah, and also I think it wins and losses. I think if Illinois wins that game, nobody talks about it. Like you could say the same thing about the Indiana game for Kofi.
Yeah,
like his numbers against Indiana weren't great either. He had 17 points and 8 rebounds. I don't think that's good enough. 6 for 13. He was even worse from the field. So nobody talked about it because they won.
I hate 17 points, 8 rebounds. That's awful.
Yeah, apparently that's bad. But, I mean, the thing is, if Penn State beat Wisconsin, I think people would talk about the fact that Johnny Davis was 2 for 13.
Sure.
Not as much as they would about a big. I don't know why people do that. I don't know. But I also think that people kind of decide who's untouchable. Like the overall people who cover the game or at the highest level, they kind of get in their mind, okay, Johnny Davis, Jaden Ivey, anybody from Gonzaga, we can't talk bad about them. Yeah. But I also don't think that they really talk bad about anybody. I think the people that you're probably more so talking about are like, I don't really know who. Who are you talking about?
I don't know. Everybody.
So there's certain people out there.
Purdue fans.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think that Jeff Goodman or any of those guys are going to go out of their way to say, Kofi was bad tonight, not good enough.
I don't know. I just thought it was a good point.
Yeah, I think wins and losses is probably the number one thing there. But I also think there is something to the untouchable thing.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to criticize Johnny Davis. I think he'll be criticized if they lose in the first round and he sucks.
True.
And then we won't have to worry about him ever again because he'll be stuck in like Sacramento or something next year. And they're going nowhere fast.
True.
So there you go. All right. Let's do a few Ken Palm things here real quick.
Okay.
Northwestern does not turn the ball over often, 5th in the country offensively in turnover percentage. Illinois on the flip side, 157th. Offensively, Illinois ranked 20th now. Northwestern is 54th. Defensively, Illinois big advantage, ranked 23rd to Northwestern 71st. But like I said, defensive pressure, you're probably not going to get them to turn it over that much. But if you can actually close out on shots and, not
Huge,
stop
yeah.
defensively.
Yeah, and we talked about DeMonte. That's the first time I've ever seen DeMonte kind of back off somebody. Usually he's always in their face.
It's the one guy you can't back off of, too.
Gillis is a little bit of a different player than he's been guarding lately, though. Gillis is more of a shooter than a back you down type guy, and that's who DeMonte has been guarding lately. So I don't know. It just seemed like a super mental lapse, but
why wouldn't they just go with Grandison against Gillis?
see you, Pookie. Thanks for stopping by, buddy.
He was there at some point guarding Gillis, Grandison. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
The whole thing's a disaster. That game was a joke, but
it was.
Let's get into the predictions for
bounce back
the Sunday game.
Bounce back game. I got Illinois finding their shot, making a bunch of shots, knocking down threes. I think Melendez is going to have a game, and people are going to start talking about him a little bit more. I got Illinois going to win this by, I believe that's 17, 82-65, sold out crowd, 15-544 or whatever number there. So be loud, State Farm Center, and get us a W.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit lower. I'm going to give Northwestern a bit more respect. 72-63. I think Illinois is going to score. I think this is a big Kofi at the free throw line game. I think he's going to get a lot of calls.
Yeah.
And I think Chris Collins is probably going to get a technical.
He'll be laying on the ground
at some point. Yeah, what a loser. Who's more annoying on the sideline between him and Painter?
Painter.
At least Painter's won some games. I mean,
Painter was going nuts last night.
He was also running after Plummer. I mean, Jesus.
He tried to block Plummer's three, so
What can you do? At least neither of them is Bruce Pearl.
True.
All right. We'll be back at some point in the near future. I don't know when. I guess the next game after this is Wednesday against Rutgers. So we'll probably be back, Tuesday, Monday, something. Well, I guess Tuesday or Wednesday. I guess we could do pregame, but one of the two. Tuesday or Wednesday we'll be back with episode 99, and Illinois better win Sunday. Goodbye.